Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of a new series on my channel on how to make a tower defense game. In this first episode, we will be generating the map that you can see on your screen as well. That is one of the most important parts of a tower defense game, so let's just get right into it. Alright, the first thing you want to do is boot up a Unity scene. I'm using the 2019.1.7F personal version of Unity. This should work on later versions at the recording of this video, but just make a 2D project, and that should be the setup required. Oh, and also make sure you have Visual Studio installed. I will put a link down by brackets on how to set all this up, but let's actually get developing the game. So the first thing you want to do is I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to name this sprites, and what this folder will hold is all the sprites that we will make in our game. Sprites are 2D objects that can be used as game objects, like a player, and so on. So what you want to do is in this folder, which you can do by just creating one and double-clicking it, like so. Inside this, which is the project panel, you want to click, you want to right-click, you want to go to Create, and then you want to go down to Sprites, and then Square. And I'm just going to name this Square for now. Make sure to spell it right. I did not. So here we go. Now that we have that, let's go back to Assets, which you can do just by clicking right here. I'm going to create another folder and name it Prefabs, which will hold all of our prefabs. So to make the map tile, we're going to drag this sprite into our hierarchy here. That will place it in the middle of our screen. And I'm just going to rename it to, let's say, map tile with capital T. There we go. So now we have our map tile. Now, I want to make it show that it has, like, borders, so I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller here, just do 0.9. You can do this in the Inspector tab by clicking on the sprite, and then going into the Inspector, you can change the position, rotation, and scale of the map tile, or sprite. So now that we have this renamed, and to the settings we want, we can go back to our Assets thing. Oh, and also you can do it in this little hierarchy here for your project. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Prefabs, right here. So this folder, the folder is empty because we have no prefabs yet, but let's drag this in. There we go. Now that we have that, this is in our folder. So what we can do is we can delete this and then drag it into our scene, and there we go. It has all the settings that we had before and all that good stuff. All right. Now that we have the map tile prefab set up, let's create a new folder in our assets, and I'm going to name this scripts. And what I'm going to do inside of here, I'm going to create a new C# script and name it map generator. Now, I'm going to open this in Visual Studio. Double click it. There we go. Visual Studio 2017. There we go. Let me just drag it over, and just so you guys can see, gonna zoom in a little bit. Alright, so in this map generator, the first thing we want to do is reference our map tile object so that we can spawn it. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to do private game object map tile, like so. And actually we're going to make this public. Whoa, spelling. So basically what this is doing is the public makes it available to other scripts and in the Unity editor. This is the type of game object which all like the main camera is technically a game object, and if I just create an empty, this is game object. Game object just has a basic transform and stuff, so we're going to delete that in the scene because we don't need it. And then the map tile is just the name of the variable that we can use later in this script. Alright, so the second variable we want to do is private int map width, and then under that we're going to do private int map height. And this will just be the width and height of the map in map tiles. So like a 4x4 would be 4 map tiles by 4 map tiles. And for now, that is all we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a private void called generate map. And what this will do is, well, it's a void, so we can call it. And what it will do is it will generate all the map tiles we need. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create 2 for loops, and a for loop, I can link a video based off of loops and stuff in the description, but we're just going to write for, int I equals 0. Actually, no, not int I. Int y equals 0. Y is less than map height. And then y plus plus. Make sure it looks exactly like this so you don't get an error. And then inside that for loop, we're going to do for int I, or for int x, sorry, equals 0. X is less than map width. And, whoops, x plus plus. There we go. Make sure it looks exactly like this so that it will work. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do instantiate. Actually, no. We're going to do game object, new tile. And we're going to do instantiate map tile. There we go. So now it is instantiated, which is just creating a new game object. And then we're going to do new tile dot transform dot position, because this is a game object. We need to access the transform under that game object. We're going to do new tile dot transform dot position equals new vector 2, because we are in 2D. And then we're going to do we're going to do the x and then the y. Because in vector 2, it is the x component first, then the y component first. And the x-axis, if you don't know, this is the x-axis, the way my cursor is going, and this is the y-axis, right here. All right, so that should be the script. Let's create an empty game object. I'm just going to reset its position to 0, and I'm going to name this map generator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this script in my project tab. I'm going to drag it onto this game object, as we're doing right here, and here we go. It is right there in my thing. Now you will see this field called map tile. Now what we want to do is in our prefabs folder, we want to click and drag that into the field, and that is referencing that game object so that we can use it later inside the script. Now you'll notice that we can't modify the map width and map height. Well, that is because we set it to private. Now the reason why I'm going to do that is so that other things that can't access it to change the map size without permission. So the reason why I put serialized field here is because it lets Unity, it always serializes it, but basically this makes it accessible in the editor when it is private. So if we go back to Unity, let it recompile our script here, click on this, you'll see that now we have these two fields of map width and map height. So let's just put, 8 by 8, because that's a nice whole number. Oh, whoops, I was a bit worried then. We forgot to call this generate map thing, so it's not going to run this code because there's no calling to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do private void start. This is a inbuilt Unity function from the mono behavior. It basically, whenever this script is first run, or basically gets created, it will run this function. What I'm going to do in this start is generate map, just like that. This is what we do when we want to call a function. So this will just cause this to run, this block of code right here to run. So now if we go back, let it recompile here. There we go. Wait for it. And then we click play. You will see that in our game, on both tabs, this is the scene view, and this is the game view. You will see that we have a 8x8 grid of the map tiles that we created. And the cool thing is that because this is a prefab, we can go to this prefab, change the color of the game object. Let's just say to a lime green. That's going to kill your eyes. There we go. It's a bit painful to look at, but that is the basic map generation done. Okay, now that we have that done, you may be wondering, what about the path? Because you need a path for the enemies to walk on. Well, that's a good question. Let's go back into our script and add a few more variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do private list game object. I'm going to name this map tiles, and private list game object path tiles. There we go. All right, so why am I creating these two? Well, this is going to hold every tile in the map, and this is going to hold every path tile in the map. So what is a list? Well, it is basically just a list of game objects. It holds references to game objects. It is I guess you could say dynamic array, because arrays are fixed amount of positions that you set. But these will just let us do simple add and remove commands that will they'll make the job a lot easier. All right, so to basically do this, we want to first make a new list so that it's not null. So all we have to do is after the declaration of the variable right here, you're just going to add this new space list, and then inside these greater than or less than signs, you're going to put game object, and then outside of those, put a parenthesis, then a semicolon, which you should be doing for almost everything except for the for loop and stuff. But besides that, so to add each tile to the map tiles array, or list, sorry, inside this X for loop, after we instantiate the map tile right here, we're going to do map tiles dot add, and then we're just going to add the new tile. And make sure it is map tiles, not map tile. Really, to get rid of that, you should do this. You capitalize the M right here. That will make this go wrong, but we're just going to copy and paste. There we go. And then what I can do to just verify that this map tile table or map tile list has the objects in it, in the end here we can just do map tiles 0. Wait, actually, hold on. We're just going to destroy the first game object in that array. So if you are new to arrays or lists, this is how you access the first position, because in C#, 0 is the first position in a table or list, or array or list. The first position, or number 1 here, would be the second one. 2 would be the third. 3 would be the fourth. You can see that it's just offset by 1. So we're just going to destroy the first game object in this map tiles list here. If we go back to Unity, let that compile real quick. Here we go. Gonna play. Oh, let's see here. The variable map tile and map generator has not been assigned. Well, let's look here. Oh, yeah, sorry. You need to reassign a variable when you change the name. So because we change the name of map tile, you can it unreference the game object because it's saying none game object here. All you have to do is go back into your prefabs folder, drag it over like that, bada bing, bada boom, press the play button, and we should see that the first game object here has been destroyed. So the first tile is now gone. That is exactly what we want. It was just a tester, so you know we don't want to do that all the time. So just get rid of that bad boy right there. All right, now to generate the path, we want to first create 2 functions: private list game object get top edge tiles, and private list game object get bottom edge tiles. Whoops. There we go. Now, you may see these error. Well, that is because you may see that we have private here. Then we have void for the generate map thing, but then we don't have void right here. We have list game object instead of void. This void means that this function will never return anything. If I try to return, false, this will throw an error because this function is not meant to return. You can see since map generator dot generate map returns void, a return keyword must not be followed by an object expression, which is just false. That's one of an object expression. But if I do this, return list game object, now this will throw an error because it's not a variable, but you can see that the return isn't highlighted now because we are expecting something. So let's just create a list in here called game object, and let's just call it edge tiles. And let's just create it, and let's just set it to a new list. Let's copy and paste this in there, and return edge tiles in both of these. Now, why can I name these arrays the same thing? Well, that's because they are local to this void, which is not part of this void. So we can just name them the same thing and just return them. And now you see, now that we are returning a list of game objects, this error has gone away. All right, so what are these 2 functions used for? Well, let's go back and generate a map. So let's just go in here. Now, in my 48-hour video, I made a tower defense game, and basically I just chose one of the top tiles to be the spawn point and one of the bottom tiles to be the spawn point. So basically what we're going to do in the code right now is choose a random tile from the top and choose a random tile from the bottom, and then just for now delete them to show the start and end. So we're just going to choose a start point from the top tiles and the end point at the bottom tiles. So in the code, we need to, of course, get the top edge tiles and get the bottom edge tiles, because we just have a list of map tiles. We don't know which tile is on the top or which tile is on the bottom. That is what these functions are used for. So let's just do the top edge tiles. Now, I'm just going to create a basic speech recognition. No, thank you. So in this top edge tile script, we're going to do for int I, let's just say, for int I equals, I will explain this in a little bit. So map width times map height minus 1, I is less than map width times map height, I plus plus. So this may look like a jumble of math, and it kind of is, but what we are doing, let's go back and into our generated tile. Now, oh, it just recompiled there. So in the code, we had a for loop of y, and then inside of that loop we had the map width. So basically what we're doing is this essentially does, we're going to do the first row, then the second row, then the third row, then the fourth row, then the fifth row, etc. So basically it's doing this tile, then this tile, then this tile, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Then when it reaches the end of the row, it goes all the way back and loops over the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and does that all the way up the chain. Now, we want to access the top edge tiles, which is obviously the opposite of the starting point, because let's go through this row, this row, this row, all the way up to this row. So the index position of this first tile will be the map width times the map height minus 1, because we don't want to get all, we don't want to get this tile. We want to get all the tiles in here, but not the top one, which is obviously going to be the map width times map height minus 1, because we're removing a row. That is this part of the code. Sorry if that didn't make sense. Trying to explain it my best. And then what we want to do is we want to go from this starting position all the way to here, which is just map height times map width, because it is the last tile in the chain. And that's why we have this. I is less than map width times map height. And then the last one is just I plus plus, because we just want to increment I by 1. And basically, it's quite easy from here. All we have to do is do edge tiles.add, and then just do map tiles. Map tiles, and then we will just chuck an I right there. And that is it. That should be that. Now, if I want to just do a quick tester, I would do list game object. Let's just name it top edge tiles, because that's what it's going to be. And we're just going to set this equal to get top edge tiles. Now, why are we doing this? Because, well, we are returning a list. So we're just going to set this new list of top edge tiles to the get top edge tiles return, which is a list of game objects, as you can see right here. We're just returning a list, and right here as well. So now that we have this, I'm just going to destroy the first game object of the top edge tiles. Remember, this is how you get the first object in a list or array. Now that that's done, we're going to pause this game and run it again, and you can see that it chose the first one in the top edge tiles, which would be this one, because remember, each row, this is the first one that bam, 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 bam. So it was going to choose this one. Now we can do the same for the bottom one, but because the bottom row was the first row we generated, it is quite easy, because all we have to do is just do for int I equals 0, I is less than map width, and I plus plus, because what we're doing is we just, let's generate another map here, because all we have to do is just run through these, which is just the first index to the map width index, if that makes sense. So we're just going to pause here, go into here, and then we're just going to do the same thing. Edge tiles.add, map tiles, I. Whoops. Now, why are these lines of code the same, but not this one? Because we're trying to loop over a different position in this table. This one is doing the last row in this list, and this one is doing the first row. So this is different, but we're just adding a tile to an array. So we can just do the same line of code, and And this is also the same because this I is different. You can see I is equal to 0 here, but I is not equal to 0 here. It is equal to, well, for right now, it would be 56. This is 56. Yeah, 56. All right, now that we have that, we can then do list of game objects called bottom edge tiles. And we will just set that to get bottom edge tiles right there. So now that we have these two lists of each tiles, we're going to create a local game object for right now. A local game object called start tile. And this one's going to be called end tile. And basically what we're going to set these to right now is, well, we need to create two random numbers. And these random numbers will be the index in this list so that we can choose a random tile in this list. So what we're going to do is just going to create an int rand1 random or equals random dot range, and then we're going to do 0 comma map width like so, and then int rand2 is going to be the same exact thing, random I can't spell today, I'm sorry guys, random dot range 0 comma map width. So now that we have these two random numbers, and we want to go from 0, which would be, let's just generate a new map again. I should really just keep this running, shouldn't I? We're gonna, yep, okay. We're gonna choose a random number between 0 and the map width. Now, the reason why we're doing the map width, which is going to be 0 to 8, is because this random.range, it is inclusive of this number, but exclusive of this number. So this is actually just going from 0 to 7, which works beautifully because 7 is the last index of our list here. So basically what we're doing is we're choosing a random number between 0, which is this index, and 7, which is this index. And yeah, that's what we're doing. Whoops. So now we're going to set the start tile equals to top edge tiles. Not get top edge tiles, sorry. Top edge tiles. And then we're just going to choose one based off of whatever random one was. And then the end tile is going to be that, but the bottom edge tiles here. We're going to use rand2 instead of rand1. And rand1 is just random 1, and rand2 is just random 2. So now that we have the start tile and end tile set, we're just going to destroy both of these for testing to see if it works. Right here. Like so. So now if we just go back into here, refresh the map, you will see that the tiles are randomly destroyed. So this can be the start point, this would be the end point. Very, very cool and nice. Works beautifully. So let's not destroy those anymore. Now, we need to generate the path. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, well actually, in this tutorial series, I'm going to create a very basic path generator. It's going to be very easy. So let's just get right into it. So what we're going to do is up here in the above the start void, we're going to do private bool reached x, and we're just going to set this to false for now. And yeah, all right. So if we just scroll down here, sorry for the fast scrolling. Let's do while reached x is, while not reached x, because this is saying that while reached x is equal to false, do this code. And the code inside of here will be if start tile dot transform. Wait, no, sorry, hold on guys. Oh, this is such a mess, sorry. So after this variable, we have this variable reached x. Now what we need to do is we need to create a few more variables. We're going to create a private game object, current tile, to describe the tile that we are currently on, or currently on in the generation. And then what we're going to do is private int current index, which is going to be the current index of this tile right here. And then private int next index is going to be the index, or whatever index we choose to then set this current tile variable to. Alright, sorry that was a bit confusing. We just need to add these 4 variables here. I'm just going to let you do that right now. Alright, after that, below these bottom edge tile things, or voids, we're going to create 3 new functions. Private void move down. That's the first one. Private void move left. Second one. Private void... Whoop. Oh. Whoa. Don't do Control A and then backspace. You will delete all your code. Sorry there. And then under the private move left one, private void move right. That is the 3 things that we want to call. Now, inside this generate map thing, we want to do under the end tile thing. We want to set the current tile equal to the start tile, because we're going to start on that tile in the path generation. And then while reached x is equal to false, and I'm just going to comment here, reached x equal to false is the same as, you can use this exclamation point reached x, or this depends on what you want, just to be visually you know, to tell you that it's equal to false or not. But in this while loop, we're going to check if the current tile dot transform dot position dot x is greater than the end tile dot transform dot position dot x. Then run a little bit of code, and then we're just going to do else if current tile dot transform dot position dot x is less than end tile dot transform dot position dot x. Run a little bit of code. Now, the current tile is going to be one of, let's just let it generate here. Oh god, no, guys, don't do this, hold on, I will be right back. Alright guys, I am back. I just had to redo this. Let's just comment out this for now, because that is a big issue. I just created an infinite while loop that crashed Unity, and don't do that ever. Don't create an infinite while loop. There we go. Didn't crash. Alright, so what was I talking about? Oh yes. The current tile is going to be one of these tiles, which is the start tile. And basically what we're doing is we're going to step through each time, go from this tile, and then, you know, if the end tile is, let's say, this one right here, we're going to start here, go left, and then now that our X position is equal to this X position, we're going to go down, until we reach there, and then we're at the end, and that is our path. So, yeah. So if it is greater than, let's just remove this. If it is greater than, if current tile dot transfer dot position dot x is greater than end tile dot transfer dot position dot x, that means that we are to the right of the end tile, which means you want to move left, because we want to reach the same x position as the end tile. And because this is the opposite, we're just going to move right there. Now, to stop that issue that I had before, I'm going to do a local variable here called loop count, like so. And I'm just going to set it to 0. What I'm going to do is do loop count plus inside here, and then if loop count is greater than, let's say, 100, then debug.log loop ran too long, broke out of it, and break. Whoops. So what this is going to do is we have a loop count here variable called 0. We're going to increase it each time we run through this loop, and if this value ever reaches greater than 100, it will break out of this loop, which will just make this loop stop and move on to the code under it. So, we should see, actually, to show you that that should actually work. I'm going to play right here and do here. You can see loop ran too long, broke out of it, and you see it did not crash. So that's good. That's good. All right. Now we need to actually make the move left and move right functions. So scroll up to where you have them. We're going to do the move left first. All right. So the first one is when we move left, we want to add the current tile that we were on to the paths. And then what we want to do is we want to do current index equals map tiles dot index of current tile. So that will access the index in this in the map tiles list. What is our index of the current tile that we're stepping through? And then what we do is we're going to do next index equals map tiles, or sorry, current index minus minus. And I'll explain this after. And then current tile. Whoops, current tile equals, excuse me, map tiles next index. Alright, so that should be it. That should move our thing left. And then we're just going to copy the same code down here and do plus plus. Alright, so let me explain this real quick. Just load up. Should break. Yep, there we go. Let me explain this. Let's say we are on this tile right here. This one right in the middle of my screen right here. If we are on this tile, and if we know that the indexing was from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for this last tile here, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, if we want to move left, we know that this index is 1. The one to the left is 1 less than the index of this tile. So if we want to move left, we will just take the index of this tile right here, subtract it, and then set the current tile to this one. That means that we are now on this tile. And then move left, subtract 1, move left, subtract 1. And then if we want to do right, it's just adding, because it's this index plus 1 is this one's index, if that makes sense. So move left, we're going to subtract for the next index, and for the next index we're going to add the current index. And then we're just going to set the current tile equal to the new index tile. All right. Now for the one that would probably make the least sense. We're going to basically copy the code. So I don't know why I'm writing it out. We're going to copy the code from, like, let's just say move left. And how do we get the tile under us? Well, let me show you some magic. It's just current index minus map width. All right. Whoa. Totally doesn't make sense. Some of you may already understand, and that's great. Whoops. So let's go into play here. Show another example. Let's say we're on this tile. This would be index 7, 15, 23, and then 31. So this would be 39, 38, 37. So this tile is index 36. Let's say we want to move down. How many steps would we have to go down? Well, since we know that it was generated left to right and down to up, we know that we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We reach this tile. And guess what 8 is? It is also the width of the map. And that's why we do current index minus map width, because we just have to go down the current width of the map down to get the tile under us. And that should be it for creating these 3 functions. You can just wait here, copy it, pause the video if you want. And then what we want to do is, so if current tile after this, while reached x equals false, if none of these return true, or if none of these run, which means that we are at the x position, we're going to do reached x equals true, like so. And then what we're going to do under this while loop, we're going to do while, here, let's go up here. Sorry for the fast scrolling again. Go all the way up to the top of your script, and under this reached x, do private bool reached y equals false. Scroll all the way down, past all your code into the bottom of this generate map function, and do while reached y is equal to false. Again, you could do exclamation point reached y, but this is just more visual, showing you that we're checking it if it's false. Then in here, if current tile dot transform dot position dot y is greater than end tile dot transform dot position dot y, then we will move downwards. Move down. And then if it isn't, then we are going to say that reached y equals true. And oh, sorry, not equal, equals true. And then we should just here for each game object obj in path tiles destroy obj. So what this is doing is just after we have created the path in all this, then we're just going to destroy it. So let's just go into here, go to play, and you can see that, oh, we got unlucky. It's a straight line. Wow. Doesn't show. Okay, just yep. Okay. All right, there's a bug in the code. Let's check what it is. Let's see. Current tile. So we set the current tile to be the start tile. Yeah. I will be back, guys, when I found the problem. Ah, okay, guys. I found the problem. Don't do plus plus or minus minus. In the move left function, do next index equals current index minus 1. And in this move right, do next index equals current index plus 1. That's the problem. And that should solve all your problems that we were having. Alright, so if you saw what I got, you should see that, oh boy, it works. Now, you can see that we don't really have a visual representation, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, after setting the current tile, I'm just going to do move down so that we are one tile off in the downwards direction from the start point. And if you can see, that just turns it so that we're like this, so that we're not hugging the edge of the map. But you can see that, oh wait, the end tile's not there. That's really easy to fix. All I have to do, sorry for the fast scrolling, keep forgetting. All I have to do at this point is just do path tiles.add end tile, and after that, the tiles should be done. There we go. You can see that it generates a path from here all the way to here. Now, obviously, destroying the tiles isn't a good idea, so what I'm going to do, instead of doing that, I'm going to delete this for loop. I'm just going to set up here at the top, scroll all the way past to the top. I'm going to do public color, and name this just path color. And then all the way down, we're just going to do for each game object obj in path tiles. We're just going to do obj.getComponent sprite renderer. Make sure to put the parentheses. Dot color equals path color. And that should be it for the path. So let's just go into hierarchy, go to map generator, change this color to a darker gray. Make sure to put the opacity all the way up in this alpha channel here. And let's play and see our path be generated. There we go. You guys can see that this will generate a path that our enemies can follow in the next episode. And, okay, I'm just getting really unlucky because it's saying, there we go. That shows it better. So, goes down, one tile goes all the way right, and then goes down all the way. And that is our basic map generation. Now I can set this map tile color to, let's just say, a nice earth green. And there we go. The path generates, changes the color, and we have this quite cool looking map. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. I know it was a bit long, but if you liked it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Join my Discord server if you need any help, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.